My name's Rich Procida, and I've started doing tarot readings on some true crime, actually, or some other types of events. Right now, I've been focusing on the Chad and Lori Daybell Vallow case, and I did 2 readings on them. So the purpose of me doing these readings is for confirmation and testing. So I've had those 2 prior readings and I wanted to grade them. And I found that in the 2 prior readings, one thing that did come up in both readings was the justice card reversed. That's a strong indication that there would be no justice, that there would be an injustice. And that leads me to the question here today, which is, will they charge Chad and or Lori Daybell with murder? And quite frankly, at this point, it's looking that they may not, they may not. It's very strong that when Alex died, justice went with him. But I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm going to read the cards to find out. And one of the things about the prior readings, I found I did much better when I interpreted the cards simply, rather than trying to interpret them, look at all the images and try and figure out what was being told to me. In hindsight, in looking at the 2 prior readings, the one on Alex Cox and the other one on who changed who, was it Lori who changed Chad and convinced Chad to commit crimes, or was it Chad who, through his teachings, convinced Lori to murder her children or to have her children killed? We know Chad was involved and that he likely buried the children in his backyard or took part in that with Alex. But I have a feeling that if somebody turns on, if one of them turns on one another, it's going to be Chad turning on Lori. Because while Chad may have buried the bodies, Alex was likely the one who murdered them, and Lori would have definitely had to have a say in that. She would have had him murder them. So basically that it's a shame that they may not be charged with murder, and it doesn't look like they're going to be charged with murder, but we'll find out from the cards. It's a lot of shoddy police work. And I've said this before, Black people, minorities, can walk down the street and be killed by the police, but white person kills their spouse and there's no investigation. It's shoddy, terrible police work. This is the Vanessa Gillian case. Well, that has to do with the military, but just terrible, shoddy police work. So we got police out there killing people and not doing their job. So the grades that I have on the tarot readings on Alex Cox was that, in hindsight, in reading the cards, I can see what the cards were trying to tell me. But I think that I let my opinions get in the way. And my interpretations became what I wanted my opinions to be. And that I didn't interpret the cards simply. I did better on the second reading in that regard. Still, I think I made a lot of mistakes. First, you're dealing with a question, and sometimes the cards don't directly answer the question you're asking. I get off subject, and then I forget what the question I was asking was. So, on the other hand, just because in hindsight I can see that what the cards were saying, doesn't mean that that's not the nature of these cards, that these cards can be interpreted in many ways. And in hindsight, of course, we can make up the interpretation. It's a lot easier in hindsight. But it doesn't mean the cards were telling me the future. It's just that the cards may be subject to various interpretations, flexible interpretations, and therefore, in hindsight, you can see that in the cards. So I haven't really proven anything yet. I think the cards, the justice reversed coming out in both the readings is significant. I want to see if it comes out in this reading today and see, I mean, if it does come, that would be something to see it in all three readings. And it would be an indicator to me that they're not going to be charged with murder. And here we are already at the pretrial, and at least in Chad's case, and there's no murder charge. And I don't know what's going on in Lori's case. But we may see Lori being the one charged with murder, and Chad perhaps being an accomplice in handling the bodies. And that's why I think that Chad will turn on Lori rather than Lori turning on Chad, because she may try to, but she has nothing to turn on Chad for. He had the bodies, what did you say, Alex and Chad murdered her children and buried them without her knowledge, without her participation. So I'm going to try and ask, as always, I'm going to try and ask simple questions or straightforward questions. I want to get information about what will be revealed in the future. This is a future question, and we'll go through a few questions. But I'm not going to ask a lot of questions. I'm not going to just spin out questions and show cards real fast. And I want this to be a test of whether these cards actually work, and also to develop my own spiritual abilities to connect with spirit. I've already prayed and done a meditation, so I'm ready to go ahead and go forward with the reading. So let's see, I got my Rider White Tarot deck. And what I usually do, and I've always done it, is a 3-card spread. It seems to be the simplest, easiest thing to do. I got my little Hobbit set up here. I couldn't find one that had a tarot card reader or anything that could be used successfully. And I thought you might like to see that rather than what's actually behind me. So first question we're going to ask, we just got some cards that flipped out. That means we've got to look at them. And so there are actually 3 cards for the tarot spread. I assume that the first will go in the first place, which usually represents the past. The second will go in the second place, which usually represents either the present or the central issue. And I'm going to, because this is actually, will they be charged with murder, is actually a question about the future. And it's, I've asked they, which is not a very specific question because we know that one could be charged with murder and the other not. So let's see what these cards say, though. They popped out. So the first one, and this one came up in another reading, it's the, maybe not, the 7 of Pentacles. And you can see that. I want to make sure you can see that. Oops, it doesn't want to show the card very well. But that's it, the 7 of Pentacles. And to me, this is representing the past. Pentacles often, this is an upright card. The other 2 cards are reversed. I'm going to go with the simple. Like I said, I did better with simple. And what I'm seeing in this card is the past, Chad's watching over the the money, watching over the bodies. Chad's, and that this case is all about money. And that came out in a prior reading. This case is about money. Chad. So that's one thing that I think has come out of the readings. And so far, we don't know what this is about. We assume she killed her children because she was crazy, but we see her heading off to Hawaii. And as I've already said in previous things, my theory is she was trying to get the money by killing her husband. And when that blew, she went on a killing spree. They got the $400,000 from Tammy's death, went to Hawaii, and they probably had to get rid of the children because they were eventually going to rattle. Well, anyway, we got this case, this card before, and we got in the same position reversed. It's coming up again. We also got, and this is the Seven of Cups. Let's see that. And one thing when the Seven of Cups that I didn't really realize is, look at Chad right there. That I didn't notice this last time. I did notice the snake and the temptation and the wool being pulled over Chad's eye, and the woman in the background and the gargoyle and all of that. But really, this is, just to be simple, what this actually means is that in the reverse position is that Chad is not controlling this. Chad is not orchestrating this. Chad is not the one. So basically what I'm saying is, this looks like here's a Chad here, here's a guy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be gender specific, but here he is. He seems to be sort of directing these items here, but he seems to be the one. But in the reverse, it's indicating he's not. And then we've got the Tower reversed, and you can see that. I don't know why it goes in the opposite direction of where I want to go. But the Tower reversed, and the Tower, I think the Tower reverse means change, but calamitous change. I think the Tower reverse is not necessarily the opposite. Okay, so let's look at the Tower here. Tower. Personal transformation, fear of change, averting disaster. In the reverse, sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, awakening. This is fear of change, averting disaster when it's upside down. Well, that could mean one of two things, and that is that they're getting off. I mean, murder is a disaster. Concealing evidence, you're going to do years in prison, but it's not going to be a life prison. I think the message is Chad, and that's what sort of just came to me when I was talking. I said Chad probably won't get charged with murder. Chad will probably turn on Lori. And so let's go ahead and ask. They told me I put the cards out there. So let's see. That's pretty much the answer to that question right there, it seems to be. That's pretty simple. The answer is no, they're not going to be charged with murder. Now let's find out if Lori's going to be charged with murder. There we go. Because I think we got the idea that Chad isn't. So is Lori going to be charged with murder? This is the next question we have here. I like to actually. Hey, if I can use the Biddy Tarot, that would be great. Because that gives me more information, helps me to learn the cards and to get a better idea. And eventually I'll remember the cards, but some people have some technique for remembering the cards, or I don't. So basically, here we go. Will Lori be charged with murder? Okay, so there we go. Huh. 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 Well, that's really kind of weird. What you got in the first is the star card, okay? Star card, I just hope that, let me go back here, the star card, so that you can see that. And I look at it, they're pouring water out in one end and pouring the water into the other. And you got all these stars. And we'll look at the Biddy Tarot for the star card here. And then we'll, because it looks to me like this is a person who is very lucky. But it looks like she's the one that might be in control of the whole situation, because I can see that she's pouring water in and the ground pouring it into the water. She's the one doing this. So here's the star card. Hope, faith, purpose, renewal, spirituality. So it's a real weird card for her. But apparently there is something to do with her spirituality. It seems to be maybe what the card is telling us. And then what we got is the Magician in the reverse, right, for the middle card. So that means that, probably means in the simplest message would be, and if I did the simplest message here, the star in the past means she's the one. She's the one. She's the one. Okay. The Magician reversed means she's no professional. She's not, she was pulling all this stuff off, but it's going to be revealed who she really is. It's going to be revealed. Okay. I want to look at the Magician card. And since it's in the upright, manipulation, poor planning, untapped talents. This could be Cox. This could be Alex Cox. If you want to view that. He was a hitman, but he was no real hitman. He was just a criminal. So there is a lot of poor planning in this case. I mean, think about it. What are you going to do after you get rid of the kids? Do you really think that the world's going to end that the world was going to end? You think everybody was just going to say, oh, the kids aren't with you, they're someplace else, and nobody would ever know? That the Woodcocks wouldn't ask to see the children, that her son, that they could just go to Hawaii and sort of have a vacation and then and then disappear? Okay, the last card, which is not a major arcana card, it is It's upright. I haven't touched it. It's upright. It's the Page of Wands. I want to make sure that you could see that. So here it is. Make sure this. Okay. So you've got the Page of Wands here. Oops, I put it in my face. It doesn't want to see it. So let's go back here. The Page of Wands, right? Page of Wands. So that seems to be like she's the one. She's the one. That's that. There she is, right there. She's the Page of Wands. Let's see what that looks, because it doesn't really seem like a conviction to me. So let's do the Page of Wands and let's see. Okay. Inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit. She's going to get off. She's going to get off. I notice that nobody's talking about whether they're going to be charged with murder anymore. We have still not heard anything about Tammy Daybell. So let's see. It's no use asking something we're never going to know. Well, let's ask whether anyone, well, let's ask, did Chad, well, that we may not know. Will anybody be charged for murder in the death of Tammy Daybell? Will anybody be charged with murder in the death of Tammy Daybell? Wow, that card comes up again. All right. So the first card again is the Seven of Pentacles, and it's in the reverse position. It's calling me to go back to see what the Seven of Pentacles. So we go to the Seven of Pentacles reverse, lack of long-term vision, limited success or reward. All right, so this is the background of what it's about. Money again, background for Chad again, about money again. Okay, about his lack of success. Oh, geez, don't tell me I tipped the camera. I did tip the camera. There I am. Okay. So we got that. So let's go. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse position. I can't tell whether you see that or not, but the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse position. I have no idea why. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse position. So let's check out Biddy Tarot again, because now we want to go to the Major Arcana, right? We want to go to the and see, well, this is a Queen of Pentacles, so this is not the Major Arcana again. This is another Pentacle card. So, so the Pentacles, and they're all these are all Pentacle cards. So this is really a lack of money, a lack of success. Let's go to the Queen of Pentacles and see. In the reverse, financial independence, self-care, homework conflict. Doesn't really tell us a whole lot about murder, but there may have been a conflict in the home. So, but let me see what I think about it. I think the Queen of Pentacles means that that basically that the center of it, they really weren't very good with money. They really were hurting. And she was probably, the Queen could be, but then in the last position, we have the Eight of Pentacles upright. So let's see what that says. Eight of Pentacles. Apprenticeship, repetitive. I hate my computer. Okay. Apprenticeship, repetitive tasks, mastery, skill development. Well, none of that really helps with the question, right? But if I want to take a look at this, it does look like he's not going to be charged with murder. Because it does look like he's going to be out working. So we can expect that Tammy Daybell's, when we do get the results of the autopsy, they're not going to have enough to convict him of murder. Shoddy police work. And then because Alex, and that's one thing I missed on the other reading, Alex committed, he killed 3 murders. And maybe, well, I don't know if Tammy Daybell was his murder or not. She could have died of natural causes. I mean, you know, things do happen. Look at Alex Cox died, and I could of natural causes. Let's ask why she had her children killed. I just think that that's a question that we may not be able to get answered ever. So we'll just ask it, but we may never be able to get confirmation on that. Knight of Wands. 8 of Cups. 9 of Wands. Okay. So if I just read it simply here, the Knight of Wands. Now the wands indicate some type of magic in this case. So she thought she was a magician. She thought she was the Knight of Wands, the up and coming leader of. She had a grandiose sense of herself, but it's in an upright position. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Energy, passion, inspired action, adventure, impulsiveness. So impulsiveness seems to ring true here. She did these things unplanned and impulsively. And then the Eight of Cups here, this is upright too. And it looks like in the night, that we see the person is facing away. This really may indicate that she was very hidden, that her true could be an emotional decision. Let's see what we get out of this. So, Cups. So we got the Eight of Cups upright. Disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism. Abandonment is very clear. That's at the center of it. She wanted to abandon the kid. She was disappointed with her life. She wanted to escape. She was disappointed with her life. And the last card is the Nine of Wands. And here we see a very injured, this is in the result. The person looks injured there. He's got a Band-Aid on. He's embattled. This is the future. Let's see what Biddy Tarot has to say. The Nine of Wands. Boundaries, test of faith, persistence, courage, resilience. This led her to a test of her faith. So her false beliefs, her grandiose false beliefs in her own spiritual superiority and power and delusions of grandeur. Wanting to escape, wanting to get away, very dissatisfied with where she was at. But the thing is, these things may come out to be true. They may come out that they don't get charged with murder. I don't know how much I'm proving anything because it doesn't look like they're going to get charged with murder at this point. Let's ask. And that's a probably pretty easy question too. Will they be convicted in due time? Probably they will. Let's ask this question. Will anybody else be charged in this matter? So what we're talking about is Melanie Boudreau. Will she be charged in this matter? And the answer to that question is probably not. So all of these things that I'm getting are probably the more likely scenario at this point. So their utility improving the existence of the cards being able to tell. Okay, so In the past, we got the Ace of Wands. Since we're already here on the Wands, let's take a look at the Ace of Wands. But it looks like for Melody Boudreau, inspiration, new opportunities, growth potential. Yeah, I think that was up. That was upright. We got strength reversed, so there's some weakness there. She has a weakness. But now we have the Seven of Cups upright, which seems to mean that she's in control. Let's just see. Let's take a look. Let's see what the cups, Seven of Cups means. Here it is, in the upright position. Challenge, competition, protection, perseverance. So I think the answer is that she's not going to be charged. I can't think of anything else to ask. There may be some new information that was coming out that we don't know what that information is. So they're got to be keeping something back in the case. And how are they really going to charge Lori? I mean, obviously they have Chad, they got the bodies on his property. So basically going to say, hey, Chad, the body's on your property. You're going to be charged with murder, but it's really the evidence they have shows Alex Cox is going to be charged with murder. Where are they going to get Lori on? I mean, they dropped the charges of abandoning the children. They say she conspired. They're saying that she worked to conceal evidence, or that she did conceal evidence and tried to obstruct justice by instructing people to lie. And so that's what the charges are. They're not murder. They're not even child abuse. They're not even assault. And here we have two dead children, and nobody's going to do the time. They're not going to be able to show a conspiracy unless they can turn Chad against Lori. So let's ask, will Chad, who will turn on who? Who will turn on who? So let's see. Let's ask whether Chad will turn on Lori. Okay, let's ask whether Chad will turn on Lori. Wow. Okay, so we've got the sun in the reverse position. Sun in the reverse position. Okay. Let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and see what the sun in the reverse position means. Because in the upright position, it seems like here we got a new baby on a horse. It's the beginning of a new day. But here it seems like the end of a good day. It says inner child feeling down, overly optimistic. Yeah, so this is, he's really down, right? He's really down. That's the background of this. He's down. And then we have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups. And it's a solitary figure dressed in black. 3 cups are spilled over, and 2 cups are still standing. And those 3 cups have to be the 3 murders. And for him, it would be his wife's gone and the 2 children. His 2 children by marriage are gone. So he's gonna try. So the situation is, how's he gonna cut his losses? He's still got 2 cups standing. That's what he's looking at. And then we've got, again, the 7 of Pentacles reversed. Keeps coming up. 7 of Pentacles keeps coming up. And it really looks like when you have it in the upward position, it really would be like watching over his treasure or his work. But in the reverse position, let's take a look. It seems to indicate lost treasure. This was 7 of Pentacles. Lack of long-term vision, limited success or reward. So he's down. He's looking at his losses already. The question he's looking at, not a whole lot. What is he going to get by turning on Lori? What is he really going to get out of that? Because as of right now, she can't, what he's charged with concealing evidence. He's going to have to do time. He's probably going to have to do time anyway. If she turns on him, he may turn on her, but she's not going to be, they're not going to be able to charge her with murder. They're not going to be able to charge him with murder. Keep your mouth shut and do your time. There's not enough to cause him to turn on her. The benefits of not turning on her. Let's just to confirm. Will Lori turn on Chad? So these things are verifiable. It just so happens that it seems like the most likely outcome. It seems like nobody's going to be charged with the murder of Tammy Daybell. That may come out to have been natural causes of the undetermined. Let's do that one. Let's ask if did I already ask? I think I already asked if anybody would be charged with the murder. And the answer is no. So let's see if Lori will turn on Chad, okay? See if Lori will turn on Chad. Wow. But that's reversed. Huh. We get a lot. We tend to get more. Well, I don't want it. So the first card is the Devil reversed. The Devil reversed. So what does that really mean here? Let's see if we can get this. The Devil, but it's reversed. Let's take a look. We'll go back to the Major Arcana here. releasing limited beliefs, exploring dark thoughts, detachment. So this is in the background. She's going to have to, she's releasing limited beliefs, which were the beliefs she had probably. And she's got all this, there's a lot of dark thoughts with Lori, a lot of detachment from others. Not so much with reality, but a detachment from others in the sense of not really having a caring relationship, not really having a real relationship. But so that's in the background. Let's see. We've got the Seven of Swords. So she's got five. This image, if you can see it, the man's carrying 5 swords. He's got 2 swords he's leaving behind, which may indicate that it may be that she's holding a lot of the cards. I mean, yeah, she's going to do time for what she did, but she's not going to be charged with murder. Well, let's see what the last card. The last card is actually the Hangman reversed. Hangman. There's the Hangman. You see that. Reversed. Delays, resistance, stalling, indecision. So it seems to indicate that she's probably not going to turn on him. I mean, she's going to resist it. She's going to resist turning on Chad. Their really only hope is that they don't turn on each other. Because right now, for having their 2 children killed, they're getting off scot-free. They're getting away with murder. And it seems to me that that's what this reading says. I don't think it's unclear in that regard. And my only question now is, did my opinions interfere with this? But the cards were not very strong in the other way. The cards were pretty much temperate in this. So, and we didn't get the judgment card reversed, but of course, we weren't really asking that questions. So we can test these things. We'll see if it comes true. I see if I did a better reading this time. And but the problem is that the facts on the ground seem to indicate that, yeah, there's no charge of murder coming. I mean, they're already in the preliminary hearing when we think they would have done it already. They're probably holding back on the autopsy report on Tammy Daybell because they know they've got nothing, and so they've got to sort of want to use it to put pressure on either Chad, probably on Chad if they can. He's got to escape that, and he probably will. So in some sense, they did get away with murder. They got away with, because with Alex Cox dead, that's it. All right, thank you for joining me. If you have any comments, put them in. Please subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of other things, do a lot on politics and spirituality and progressive Christianity. I have a Bible study called, not a podcast called Bible Study for Progressives. I also write for laprogressive.com. So I'll continue to do these, and maybe we'll get an answer that is strongly confirming, but I don't think any of the answers here would confirm much about the supernatural nature of the tarot cards, because the answers are the most likely. But if it turns out that something else happens, then it could be clearly disconfirmed. And so that may be the main benefit of this reading for the process of my learning tarot, and also for the process of understanding whether these cards actually can tell us something meaningful, whether they can divine the future or not. And here the answers are clear. So if it turns out wrong, then I can go back and look at it again and see if what I did anything wrong, or if the cards were just wrong. All right, thank you, and see you soon.